Although people complain that the two political parties here in America are much too close together ideologically on too many issues, there's one area in which they really are remarkably far apart. They couldn't possibly be more polarized on foreign policy. Neither of them has a functional foreign policy, but their two dysfunctional positions are very far apart. It's like two brothers, one of whom likes to hug you all the time and give you stuff, and the other of whom likes to punch you and kick you for no apparent reason. The two extremes of their political philosophy leave a great deal of room in the middle for reasonable foreign policy, which could be taken up by those who are in the pro-liberty movement. This is one of the reasons why I sometimes talk about the liberty movement as not really being on the extreme, as may describe it, but being in the middle in our political spectrum in a lot of ways. Because if your two political philosophies are, foreign policy philosophies, are at the extremes of helping everyone out and giving everyone foreign aid and trying to be everyone's buddy, and on the other side, trying to make war with everyone and imposing your will upon them involuntarily, then in the middle, there's a position for a foreign policy of leaving people alone except to trade with them, and dealing fairly and looking out for your own interests without trying to meddle in the affairs of other countries. That's the position which the liberty movement should seize upon. And what it needs is people to go out there and be spokesmen for that foreign policy. Many libertarians are reluctant to get involved in foreign policy. They take an isolationist position. They focus on domestic policy. They focus on cutting budgets and saving money and reducing the size of government. They don't think that one of the areas in which we can most effectively reduce the size and scope of government is in setting a foreign policy which requires much less of us overseas, both in the area of aid and in the area of military action and intervention. That position seems eminently reasonable. It's the position that the Founding Fathers supported. It doesn't mean entirely disengaging from foreign involvement. It means a foreign policy which emphasizes free trade, opening up markets for our products, dealing fairly with other countries, and maintaining the national defense of the United States through protecting our citizens and our territory and our interests. It's not a withdrawn foreign policy. It's a foreign policy which is engaged in areas where we really truly need to be engaged in, and not overcommitted in any area monetarily or militarily. If we could find a way to market that foreign policy effectively, we would have a powerful tool for the pro-liberty movement and for our liberty politicians working within the Republican Party, most likely, to go out there and present themselves as the leading edge of a better, common sense, more rational foreign policy for the country. It was through foreign policy that the neoconservatives were able to insinuate themselves into the Bush administration. Many presidential candidates don't really have a good handle on foreign policy. They're looking around for experts to advise them what to think and what kind of policies to set when dealing with other countries. They're looking around for diplomats with expertise, and they aren't really prepared to deal with those issues themselves, so they look outside of their normal circles to find advisors and leaders in those areas. And if the liberty movement had people with expertise in those areas and willingness to come forward and promote pro-liberty, limited government ideas for foreign policy, we could make a big impact and find a larger role for our philosophy in any presidential administration that was willing to listen and needed the help that we might be able to give them. It's a good entree into the halls of political power to change the power structure, change the operating philosophy of government.